Welcome to the Weekly Roar, coming live from the Lion's Den, helping new managers become great leaders and awesome bosses. And now, here's your host, Greg Storch.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Lion's Den. This is the Weekly Roar. Welcome back, everyone. It's great to have you here today for the next lesson learned in leadership, another mentoring moment. Today's lesson is about pursuing your passion. What happens when we make the connection between passion and potential? I have a great story about this, and I'm going to share it with you in just a second. But first, I'm Greg Storch. I'm the owner of Lion Enterprise, host of the Weekly Roar, and the founder of a worldwide bartered coaching program called The Helping Hand. I'm a certified professional leadership coach and a certified leadership speaker and trainer. Last week, we continued with my newest leadership series, Mentoring Moments in Leadership, with a lesson about the harsh realities of always being out in front as a leader. You know, when you're in the lead, you attract attention, and sometimes that attention can come in the form of criticism. So during the Weekly Roar, I shared 4 things that you could do to help you do better when it comes to dealing with criticism. Then afterwards, some of you took to the Lion's Den Facebook page and continued the discussion on the Conversation Corner post, where you rated yourselves on a scale of 1 to 5 on how well you handled criticism. And then I asked you to tell us why you rated yourself there. Thanks to those of you who shared your ratings with us. You know, the Conversation Corner is a new thing that I've added to help us continue the dialogue each week following the Weekly Roar. I hope you'll continue to check in and respond in the Lion's Den group page so we can all benefit from what you have to say. Now, if you weren't able to join us last Wednesday for the Weekly Roar, or if you need to catch up, or you just wanted to watch that session over again, you can access all of my free video resources on my website at lion-enterprise.com. Click on the Lion's Pride Library menu to find video number 128 for last week. And while you're in the Lion's Pride Library, stick around and check it out. It's a free resource, and it's a great way for you to get more of the roar. All right, everyone, let's jump right into today's topic that I'm calling the connection between passion and potential. Passion, potential, and purpose. All of those things play a major role in our mental and physical health, as well as our overall happiness and sense of fulfillment. That sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Yet, a global poll conducted by Gallup uncovered that out of the world's 1 billion full-time workers, only 15% of people are engaged at work. That means an astronomical 85% of people are unhappy in their jobs. And while there are plenty of reasons why employees might be feeling disengaged with their work, one of them includes not doing what you're passionate about doing. You know, sometimes we find ourselves doing any old job we can just to pay our way through life. And although we don't live to work, it's important to feel somewhat happy and comfortable in the job you spend the majority of your waking hours doing. Without knowing your true motivation, it's hard to separate what you can do from what you should do. When we rely only on skills and not what makes us happy, we choose something that doesn't conform to who we are, and what results is that we become resigned to just doing it. It kind of reminds me of Fred the Baker from the old Dunkin' Donuts commercials back in the 80s. If you've never seen it, in that commercial, we see Fred the Baker walking out of the house every morning saying, "Time to make the donuts." And then he walks back in the door saying, "I made the donuts." Well, that scenario plays over and over through all 4 seasons, and it appears that that's all Fred does. "It's time to make the donuts" is the battle cry for all of those people working in jobs they don't necessarily love, but they do it anyway. Listen, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I was one of those 85 percenters out there who didn't enjoy what they were doing for a living. I was chasing dollar signs when I moved to the DC area to work in the private IT sector, working on government contracts. At that time, money was what was important to me. The thing is, I didn't really enjoy IT. I was good at what I did, but I never really loved the work. And for me, what made it worse was that I was surrounded by people who were passionate about it. They spoke about their respective areas like cybersecurity and network with a true passion. And the minute they started speaking, my eyes would just glaze over. Boring. It would be an understatement to tell you that I wasn't really passionate about IT. So you're probably wondering why I stayed in that sector for 7 years. Well, if you asked me that, I'd tell you that there were some aspects of it that I was passionate about, like the customer service and the leadership aspect. The people factor of my job is what kept me around for so long. But the stress of it all had a negative impact on me, both physically and mentally, to the point where I ended up in the hospital for 3 days as a result of a stress-induced condition. And that, my friends, was the sledgehammer that hit me over the head and forced me to reconsider my choices. I remember the day clearly as I made my commute into DC that morning. I was questioning myself on what I was passionate about. What was it that I just loved to do? And what was it that I was known for? The answer was clearly adding value to others by helping them achieve what they want in life and also to develop other leaders. I had mad people skills, y'all, and it was time that I put them to work. So 2 days after I turned 50 years old on September 19th, 2017, I handed over my letter of resignation to my boss. And of course, I got called into his office to speak about it. He had an obligation to the company to try and retain me, but I spoke from the heart that day. And this is what I told him. And it even surprised me. When he asked me what he could do to make me stay, I simply told him that I didn't have the same passion for the industry that the others around me had. And then I said something to him that was so profound that I wondered where it came from myself. I said, "Chris, if I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, then I'll never reach my full potential. And if I'm not working towards that, it isn't fair to any of us that I continue here." That was the day that I realized the connection between passion and potential. Mark Twain is credited with the saying, "Find a job you enjoy doing, and you'll never have to work a day in your life." I even think I remember my dad telling me the same thing, but back then, I had no idea what that meant. I was programmed by society, our culture, to get a job and pay my bills. there wasn't an emphasis on thinking about what it is I love to do and then doing that for a living. Just take the job that pays well. Well, here I sit today and the tables have completely turned. Money is no longer the driving force. And I can honestly say that I am finally doing something that I truly love to do. Following your passion is the key to finding your potential. And as I told my boss on the day I resigned, without the passion, I'm never going to reach my true potential. I'll always be giving you less than I have. I don't know about you, but I wasn't okay with that. And I'll tell you that it was my passion that took me to the next level. The power of passion makes all the difference in the world. You see, passion can help us take action in a way that we typically wouldn't do it. It's the difference maker between having to do something and wanting to do it. And when it comes to leadership, passion is an essential asset that we all have to have in our leadership toolboxes. As leaders, passion is what keeps us motivated. It keeps us going when others want to quit. And I hate to say this in the time of COVID-19, but passion is also contagious. It's so powerful that your passion will infect others by influencing them to follow you. Passion can be used as a source of energy that allows us to push through tough times. It's our source of strength. While leaders have other assets that they carry in their leadership toolboxes, passion is the one thing that fuels us in a way that those other assets can't. Let's talk about some of them. When it comes to talent, not enough to help us reach our potential. You have to have passion. We all probably know someone who is naturally talented, but they've never achieved any personal or professional success. Success as they may define it, of course. See, if you want to be successful, setting aside the whole question of what it means to be successful, if you want to be a successful person, you have to have more than just talent. And when it comes to opportunities, nope, they alone won't get us to the top. Opportunities are what open the door for us, but that's just the beginning of the journey. And let me tell you, the success journey is long and hard. So without passion, it's going to be hard to sustain that journey, especially when times get tough. Having passion helps us make the most of those opportunities that come our way, but without it, we miss those opportunities, and that's another thing that keeps us from reaching our potential. So you might be thinking about another asset, our knowledge. That's got to be it, right? Knowledge can also be a great asset, especially for leaders, but being smart isn't what makes us great leaders. Just because I have 2 college degrees doesn't automatically mean I'm going to be a great leader, right? It's a great asset to have, but it will never trump your passion. Look at Abraham Lincoln, one of our greatest presidents. He had very little formal education, but that certainly didn't stop him from pursuing his passion. At the end of the day, a formal education will have very little impact on your success as a leader, if any at all. While it's a great asset for us, it won't make us be all that we can be. Well, what about having the benefit of a great team on your side as a leader? That should certainly help us reach our potential, right? Well, that's a great point. Leaders can't be successful without a good team, but that isn't what guarantees a leader of success. No, a leader must have passion. Their passion becomes the team's passion. If a leader is without passion, even a strong team will eventually be without passion too. It's called the law of magnetism. We attract who we are, not who we want. So if you don't have passion for what you're doing, you're going to attract the same on your teams. And that's a sure way to get nowhere fast. Look, regardless of the assets that you carry around in your leadership toolbox, none of them will help you reach your potential unless one of them is passion. Passion is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Passion is what gives us the energy and the desire to reach our potential. It's the will to achieve. So if you want to reach your potential, you got to find your passion. Today, I just wanted to inspire you to think about what you're doing and make sure that it's something that you have a passion for. If not, I just plead to you to consider making a switch to do something you do love doing and make the necessary adjustments to make it work in your life. I know it can be scary. Nobody wants to be a starving artist, but I can tell you from my own experience, fear will keep you away from being happy and content, and most of all, from reaching your full potential. Remember what I told my boss when I resigned. I wasn't passionate about my work, and without that passion, I would never reach my full potential. If you're in a place where you aren't passionate about the work you're doing, I can tell you that you'll never be giving 100% to yourself or your employer. Your coworkers won't get everything they can from you. And that's just not fair to anyone, including ourselves. So there we have it. That is how passion and potential are connected. You can't have one without the other. The last thing I want to do is I just want to prompt your thoughts by leaving you with this one question to think into. And that is, what do you love doing so much that you would be willing to do it for free? Think into it and start brainstorming a list of things, and that will get you started assessing if you're already in or near your comfort zone, or if you're completely missing the mark in doing what you're doing. All right, everyone, that is going to do it for today. And I do want to remind you to go back into the Lion's Den page and keep this dialogue going under the Conversation Corner post. I think you're going to like this one because I'm giving you a simple gauge to determine how much passion you have for your current work. I know that not every job isn't always fun and games. They all can have their negative sides to them. No job is fun all the time, but the right job shouldn't feel like a chore all the time either. There's got to be some enjoyment in it. So go over to the Conversation Corner and gauge where you're at. All right, if you want to keep running to the roar, then join me next week because I'm going to share another lesson learned in leadership. Now, this next lesson learned is one my wife might not think I've learned yet. Want to find out what that lesson is? All you have to do is come back to the Lion's Den next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everybody, for supporting me and watching the Weekly Roar today. I appreciate you so much, and I love the dialogue going on here, so thanks for your comments. I hope to see you over in the Conversation Corner. And until we meet again next Wednesday, remember, be powerful, but stay poised, just like a lion. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Weekly Roar live event at lionenterprise.com. If you enjoyed this video, please tell others to join us each week here in the Lion's Den. Thanks again, and see you next week.